Hi everyone, it's Pedro Baez, Charlie Longo from Go for Glory Stable. Today is February 8th, 2026, and this is the update for the last week. So as usual, please like or subscribe to the group, the channel, as it helps to us to grow on YouTube and the algorithms. And we only have we did have more races than last week. Last week we had no races, so this week we got three races. So we'll be doing replays on those. That's Enola Skybox, so Skyfall later. Um, we have that. Those are the replays. We do not have a Paul Kelly update as far as like a detailed update like last time. So the only thing to notice with Paul Kelly is all the babies have been in. I think last week when we were saying like 240 and 245 for a bunch of them. The babies have been in for Paul. They've been in 235 to 238. So all Paul's babies have been in 235 to 238 as of this past Tuesday. Um, and even for Rob, I'll just cover the babies right now for him. They've been in 250. So as of this past week, and that's fine. He's on a half mile track. Paul's on a mile track, so things are a little different in that regard. We'll get to the detailed horses, later. Um, and 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 Paul said all the older horses are now doing six six intervals, quarter mile intervals, not three. So last week it took a big leap. It was like three or four. Now it's up to six. So they're moving along pretty good. They're going pretty quickly, like 35, 45 seconds quarters. Um, so that's Paul's horses. Not gonna get into deep when we go through it. Um, videos. So we got a whole bunch of videos up on YouTube this week. So if you want to see your horses training, jogging at the barn, bathing, whatever, in the stalls, um, check on YouTube and our YouTube page. So we uploaded a bunch of new videos, and then today we're gonna upload some videos of the Rob's three babies training. So they hit their training mile on Thursday. What else? Today's Super Bowl. I haven't been following to be honest, but I will say I like I like that Vrabel came and made such a big difference for the Patriots. Although I'm a Giants fan, so kind of like indifferent, I guess you can say. But and I like Sam Darnold, how he revitalized his whole career. So, Charlie, you have any? What are you thinking?
Well, I think both defenses are really, really good. The difference is going to come down to the quarterbacks. Um, I think I'll give Seattle the edge there. Drake May hasn't performed all that great in the playoffs as compared to the regular season. Granted, he's had to play in some miserable weather. Now they're going to have some good weather playing out on the West Coast. Um, so we'll see. I don't see it being a particularly high scoring game, but I think Seattle's going to really put a lot of pressure on Drake May. I didn't realize that he's only thrown for over 250 yards twice in his career and over 300, I think, maybe just once. So that was an interesting stat. So if Seattle can shut down their running game, I think it could be a long day for New England. So yeah, I mean, an experienced quarterback. This is only his second year. Donald, he's been around for about 6, 7 years. I'm going to give Seattle the edge. And I mean, everybody's picking Seattle, and that's necessarily a good thing because when everybody goes one way, invariably it's always the opposite way. So maybe you should take New England with the 4.5. But for me, my money's going on Seattle. And primary reason being, I'm a Jets and Bills fan. Sorry, Patriots fans. I don't like you guys. You got enough hardware on your shelves and on your fingers. So that's my
Yes,
take.
yeah. With me, I don't know. I get, you know what it is. I guess I'll say I like Seattle, and the only reason why is because they got two ex-Giants, Julian Love and Leonard Williams, who were actually I was kind of sad to see them go, and they're actually playing great over there. So other
And
than that,
also, Darnold was a Jets first round draft pick, and if he does win today, at least you could say, well, the Jets did something right, even though it wasn't for their team.
right, right, exactly. So so yep, so that's today. So good luck everyone with your Super Bowl boxes and parties and everything. So have a good day. In that regard, all right. Yeah. A couple of other things. Amateur horses. We're still looking at an amateur trotter, so we'll keep you posted for the We went through it, and so if you want to see more, hear about that in more detail, listen to our weekly update last week, the first February 1st. Charlie went into pretty detail on how it works and everything. Um, Game of Claims, same thing. Last week we went into detail with the nomination form and the type what's going on at Poconos a week from yesterday, a week from yesterday, so the 14th, February 14th. So we'll see the meeting. The horses will be the Game of Claim series starts on the Saturday 14th. The horses will be entered at some point early this week. So Charlie and I will take a look at it and see if there's anything, with Rob, we'll see if there's anything worth going after, and if we're going to participate. We're kind of thinking about it. We usually do, so we're thinking about it. We'll see, kind of play it by ear and see if we like anything. All right, so last but not least, for like the summary section, we just want to talk about real quick because every week, we don't want to just talk about the horses. We want to give you a little something extra beyond just going to every horse. So, one thing we want to talk about is kind of like I don't know how to put it. It's kind of like I call it the owner mindset. You know that whereas basically owning racehorses, which all of us, if you're listening to this, you probably own racehorses, is a unique type of thing. It's we a lot of times we call it like an investment, and yeah, it is an investment. It is a type of investment, um, but um, it's it's just there's a certain way to kind of like everybody handles resource ownership differently. So let me start from there. You have different types of owners. You have owners where, they like the baby game. They don't mind. They like the whole process, picking out yearlings, paying stakes payments, having the dream for 8 months because it takes them 8 months, from the time you buy them to the time they qualify. 8 months is I'm using that loosely. It could be more, and um, you're making these payments every month, and you're kind of hoping that you're watching them develop, you're watching them progress, and you're kind of having that dream that maybe you'll get lucky with a home run. Maybe you'll get a beautiful stakes horse who'll be amazing and take you on just a great adventure and make a lot of money and give you great experiences. Those because the yearlings is where you can get the home run swing. Those are where you can. Those are the ones where you could get a home run with those. Then you have owners, and I would say probably majority of the owners, which is fine because then you have majority of the owners in the game are probably in like overnights, meaning horses racing every single week. Uh, you got claimers and you got conditioned horses who just race every week in various conditions. So, that's a different viewpoint, and that world is more about, you're trying to make money every month. You're trying to figure out where they race. Every month is like you're kind of trying to make money, and it's a little different than it's a completely different mentality than like the baby mentality. Completely different. Um, both fun in their own and exciting in their own, different way. How do I say this? That um, the key thing though, when you're owning racehorses, is you gotta have fun. Like you gotta have fun with this game. You gotta be entertained. You know what I mean? Like you gotta like going to the track, or if you're not going to the track, watching your horses race on TV. You know, you can listen to Charlie and I talk. You can listen to when we have trot talk with Paul and Rob. You can, watch the YouTube videos. You can, have fun trying to make a stable. You know, you buy this horse, you sell this horse, you buy this. You're trying to build yourself a little stable of horses that can hopefully do well over time and give you a good experience. Um, you're following the game. You're following the Hambletonian, the Meadowlands pace, all the big barns and what they're doing, and the best horses in the industry, and what's going on this track. It's it's much more fun. It's owning racehorses is amazing experience, but it's amazing when you're actually like really into it and having a good time. If you're sitting there and you're looking at racehorses as an investment, meaning you're like, and it's only an investment, meaning there is no other enjoyment you're getting out of it other than do I make a profit? That's gonna, it's gonna hurt you, and I'm telling you, it's gonna hurt you. And the reason why I say it's gonna hurt you is because it's not up, it's not like investing in a treasury stock. A treasury bond where you get your 3.5% interest every single month. They'll deposit it into your account. You get interest. You get every single month. You guaranteed your interest. It's not like that with the horses, you're going to have good months. You're going to have bad months. You might have 3 bad months in a row. You might have 4, 5 good months in a row. It might be up and down. 1 month good, 1 month bad. It can be all over the place. And the end goal is that at the end of the year, You're just hoping that the good times outweigh the bad times, and you're hoping that if you break even, that's a win. If you make a profit, that's like you need to like that's amazing. And hopefully, you just hopefully you don't lose too much. And then if you're doing it for tax deduction, if you're doing taking all advantage of all the tax benefits, then you can benefit there as well. And then you kind of live to fight another day. You know what I mean? Where you're just hoping at the end of the year you it's more good than bad. So, but the point is you gotta have fun with this game. Um, you know, I guess anything else, Charlie, you want to add? Just want that's kind of like where I wanted to point out. Like you gotta racing owning racehorses, I call it, is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. So like a lot of us, we're talking racehorses every day. And with Charlie and I, we talk racehorses every single day. I mean, with Rob, obviously it's his business. You guys, a lot of you guys, we're texting almost every day talking about racehorses. Just whatever. So, because we love it. It's like something that's like part of our lives. So, and to me, be honest, I can't live without it. Like once I got the bug, I can't. I there's no way I can live life without owning racehorses. So anyway, with that being said, Charlie, you want to add anything about like owner mindset from your perspective?
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with everything you just said. And I realize that not everyone is in the same position that we are in terms of getting the maximum benefit from the sport. We have investors from a lot of different states across the country. And unfortunately for them, they could be really passionate about the sport, but they're not close enough to a racetrack to see their horses race live. They're not able to meet up with us at events at the Hambletonian or go to Big Z and jog some horses. So they're unfortunately losing out on that great experience of being able to see the horses live and feed them carrots and jog them with one of us and see them race and get into the winner's circle. And that's a big part of it. That's a big part of the harness racing lifestyle that we tend to a lot of us get to experience. I've always told the group from day one when we started this thing back in 2015 that our little fractional ownership group provides the total harness racing experience, and we do it. But not everyone can take advantage of it. And at the same time, if you can't and you're not watching your horses race on a regular basis, that's kind of surprising, to me. And we do have some people that just don't really follow it that much, and they typically look at it as investment. Am I in the black this month? Am I in the red this month? And that's part of the business. It's kind of cyclical. It's up and down. And we're only gonna realistically, if you look at the racing calendar, we've said this before, December, January, and February, very difficult. Most of the tracks are closed. So it's going to be really, really tough. March, March through November, the end of November is kind of peak for us, where we have 9 months out of 12 to really make our year. And you can't even look at it on a month by month basis because you're going to have the down months. Like I said, December, January, February is going to be tough. And if you can't weather through that bad 3 month period and you get disappointed and you get unhappy or whatever the case may be, and you fall behind your bills, then that could be kind of problematic. You have to kind of just budget, money each month, knowing that okay, the rough months are coming up. If you have some good months before the bad months set in, maybe you should keep that money, on account. Don't look to pull it out. Save that money for a rainy day or for some training bills that are going to certainly be ahead in your future. To get through those months. But overall, yeah, it's a great sport. All our people seem to enjoy the experience. They love it. Just be mindful of the expectations that uh, realistically, more owners will lose money than make money in the sport. That's just the way it is. But if you're having fun, if you're entertained, then it's well worth the investment, if you want to call it the investment, for lack of a better term. But yeah, try to make the most of it and not get too down when things aren't going your way for having some bad results, or if the horses aren't racing, or they're injured, or if they're turned out. And on the flip side, just don't get too high when you have, you know, a good run of success, over a 4, 6, 8 week period, because horses are up and down. They're not going to maintain their form all year round. That's just the facts. And some of them can actually maintain their form for a significant period of time, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, post position draws, other horses being in peak form, getting a bad drive, bad racing luck. I mean, there's so many elements that go into a race, as you guys are all well aware at this point. So yeah, we could have a horse that's in great form and should win on paper, but craziness happens during the race, and before you know it, you have a bad race and maybe two bad races in a row, and then you wind up having a losing month, and that's just the game. So don't get too down and don't get too high. Try to be kind of even tempered, and you'll have a good experience with us for sure, and hopefully you'll come out ahead, or at worst break even by the end of the year.
Yeah, and then the only thing I will add just before we move on to the next topic is is just um you gotta have a long-term mindset. So, like I think Charlie, you mentioned about don't worry about month to month. You can't get you if you get consumed about month to month, or even some people are going crazy about race to race, and it's like living and dying on every single race. That's not that's not you're gonna drive yourself insane if that's what you're gonna be riding that roller coaster every single week going crazy,
And that's
and
stressful, and that's stressful too.
it's very stressful.
You do not need to be stressed out. This is supposed to be fun.
Right.
And if you're getting stressed out on a week to week basis or month to month, then I think you need to kind of reevaluate your racing portfolio. Maybe spread it out a little bit more, have a little mix of babies and overnights. And if you can only do 10% per month in total, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Get 5 horses, 2% each. So hopefully a couple of bad efforts, couple of good efforts, and then they'll kind of cancel themselves out, and maybe that fifth horse out of the bunch is the one that turns the profit for you, and puts you in the black for that month. So more horses means a lot more racing and more enjoyment. Potentially some disappointment, but you all know that coming into this.
That's key. Yeah, and have like you just have an outlook. You gotta like I have me personally, like I have an outlook for a whole year. I don't look at a horse's performance by one week, one race, or you know, 1 month. I look at it for a whole year. Like kind of what am I expecting for a whole year? Like Tioga Downs isn't even open yet. All these other Plain Ridge is not open yet. There's all these tracks that aren't even open. So I look at every horse for a whole year. How did they? It's only February, so and a lot of people are like, well, not a lot of people, but it's only February, so there's a long year. I look at it at a year-long increments, and then we kind of like figure things out at the end of the year, what we do, and we're always making sure that the horse is doing the best that they in the best possible position they can be. Last but not least, the only thing I wanted to say is, and this is how I did it. Like this is the way I built up my horse ownership because I'm not rich. I'm not a millionaire. You know what I mean? I didn't come into all this money. So, but I built it up over the years. This is just how I did it. I had a budget, like Charlie said earlier. So when I was, making less money, my budget was smaller. So if a horse costs, let's just say $4,000 a month to train, and my budget was $400 a month, meaning $400 a month, I was always willing to be able to put into my horse business. $400 a month. I set that aside no matter what. And I had no issue with it. That means I can only own 10% of horses, meaning if 10%, if I had a bad month and all horses earned nothing, I would have had a bill for $400 and I would have put in $400, meaning I would have covered the bills and that's it. Nothing else would have happened. When I had horses who made money, or let's just say we had a break even month and I put 400 in, the way I did it was that 400 added to my horse racing account. And then, you have good months, decent months, decent months. At the end of the year, I had, if you break even, that's almost 5 grand you have in your horse racing account that you can use to buy other horses and build your stable up even further. So that's kind of the way that's how I did it. That way, whenever I had to pay a bill, I wasn't like going crazy or anything. I was kind of like, oh, well, I'm budgeting for it anyway. So, um, I'm not saying people are going crazy, but I'm just saying mentally, it's that's how I handle. That's how I've always handled horse ownership from like a financial perspective, and it's when I did that is when things became much. The game slowed down for me, and I became much more. Um, it became more enjoyable because I wasn't riding that wave every week, every month. If you follow, so
And let me just add this one final word. Historically, since we've been doing the fractional ownership thing since 2015, we've had the most success at the following tracks, not necessarily in this order: Tioga, Saratoga, Plain Ridge, Pocono. As you know, Saratoga just reopened. The other three will be opening over the next, several months. And that gives us something to get excited about and to look forward to because we'll be racing there and some of the other New York tracks too with the babies as well as, with Rob's horses. And Rob is always, you know, one of the leading trainers there historically at Tioga. We always have a very good meet. And, we've had a lot of success at Plain Ridge racing for very good purses in recent years. So I'm very excited about that. Pocono, as Pedro mentioned, is opening shortly. And, we've had some good luck there as well. So a lot to look forward to. And yeah, just stay positive. And I feel strongly we're going to have a dynamite year.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. So, all right. So with that being said, we're gonna start going through the horses, and like I said, we're not gonna talk about the babies much and the three or some of the other horses because we mentioned it earlier with Paul and the high level Paul update. So, all right, starting from the beginning. So, Adios My Lindy, we covered already. Um, they are just doing. She's doing the 6 intervals instead of the 3 intervals. So they're ramping it up, meaning the quarter mile stretches that they're doing, the quarter mile sprints. They're going between 35 to 45 seconds. So she's doing fine. Um, Beaueastel. So Beaueastel, he came back not this past Thursday, the Thursday before to Big Z from his break. He trained on this past Thursday for the first time since he's been back. So he's doing fine. He's moving along. He's probably I don't know 2 3 weeks away from qualifying. Um, Betelgeuse Blue Chip. He has he's been in 250 this past Thursday um, with Rob and at Big Z, and he's doing fine. He's just working on his Rob's working on his gate a little bit. He came in afterwards in November. Seven Seagrams and Solar Queen came way back in September, so they've had like 2 extra months with Rob. So Beetlejuice, Rob's just working on his gait, his trot. It's just, which is normal. You got to fine tune the baby's gaits as they kind of develop. Working on the shoeing is a big piece of it, equipment. So that's what's Beetlejuice, but he's doing great. Uh, Beyond the Rules, she's also been in 235 to 238 with Paul down in Florida. She's Geologic sister. She's doing very well. Enola, we can do Enola real quick. Her race, she actually raced this week. So let's do the Enola replay. Do that Meadowlands. Of course, she got the 8 post. She just always getting the outside post, it seems. And all right, Charlie, leave this to you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what our driver was going to do here. I was really hoping that he would leave and get some good position. And I saw here he was right on the gate with him, and that was good to see. And
Yeah,
yeah, she blessed.
I wish they did more of that. She has not bad gate speed.
Yeah, no, I mean
Right.
she proved it right here. I mean Brad got her away really really good. Um, she got to the top here. She's right behind looks like Braxton Boyd here, Braxton Boyd. All right, so she gets the tuck right here. Okay. So we're in a good spot here. We're like 30 to 1. I'm like, all right, we're behind a decent horse, Braxton Boyd, good driver. he can carry us here. Now the one is coming, first up. That's okay. We're just gonna, sit tight. We have a lot of options here. At this point, I'm just all right. Just stay where you are. Long stretch, and I think we're gonna be fine. We're gonna finish fine here. I'm feeling pretty optimistic right here. And as we come to the quarter, I think the quarter went 15. Yeah, it was a good clip. 28 quarter, 28 in 1 second half. Um, Horse going off stride there. Now we got a bomb right behind us, so I'm really getting excited here. Now we got another horse coming first up. Not sure who that is just yet. And here he tips him, but Braxton Boyd pulls out right in front. So I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do here? Are we gonna, stay on the inside? Are we gonna follow Braxton? And he elects to follow Braxton, takes her to the outside, the plugs are pulled. And yeah, she's finishing strong here. This is a tough group. This was a very, very tough group. And Britt Beckwood's got the 3 to 5 shot on the lead, and she's still coming here. She's still closing hard. And yeah, she finishes really, really well. Thought she was going to hit the board there. 54 was the final time. Again, on a cold night. Very, very pleased with that performance. And yeah, that gets me excited. So, better post position. She's going to be that much better. Like 6 and in would be ideal. And she exhibited the kind of gate speed that we knew she had. And I think she's poised to have a good year if she stays sound for sure. So yeah, everybody was pretty excited about that effort.
Yeah, she was really good. And that she'll be in for Yonkers. The goal is for Yonkers next week on Friday. In that same class, now 100 7,500, and she should, like Charles said, if she draws anywhere inside, she should do really well in there. She's in good form right now. Um,
Hmm.
it's hard to find horses like her who just show up every single time. I mean, that's like we were talking about horses in form for a long time. Like that's why they're the best. The better horses, for the most part, always show up. You know, every time. So
And Pedro, that race, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was against the boys, right? That wasn't a filly and mare, was
yeah,
it?
yeah, against the boards. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so you got to be even more impressed. It's not easy for a mare going up against the boys. The boys are typically a lot more difficult to beat. So, just losing by a length and a quarter or whatever it was to the boys is a very strong effort.
Yeah, and she did. She did almost all the work, jumping to the front like that.
She
So
did
she
it. She
she she was
did. She
good.
she had to make 2 moves in the race, and she lost by a length and a quarter. I mean, that was a solid effort.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, when it gets to the next horse in a second, but Meadowlands, it's so I was talking to Rob about this while getting the update about Meadowlands. He's like, he usually races at Meadowlands January, February because it's just nothing else open, and it's actually easier because usually you don't have some of the top barns there. Now, if you notice in that Enola race, I mean that now 17500, you know, any other time, any other track, she'd be like the favorite and just be, going down the road and call it a day. Not Meadowlands right now, you're starting to see it. You're starting to see Tony Alan. I always say his last name wrong. Alanya,
Hmm.
like lasagna. Tony Alanya. His his horses are starting to show up, and he's got monsters. Uh, Pat LaChance horses are starting to show up. Andrew Harris horse. So you're starting to see these top barns in New Jersey just come out, kind of wake up and start showing up, and they all go to Meadowlands because there's no Philadelphia, there's no Chester right now. So it's Meadowlands is starting to get tough. So you know we're probably gonna. But the good thing is we have other tracks opening up like Poconos and Saratoga is open now. So we have options, thankfully. But yeah, just keep that in mind that those horses that Nola was racing against, and we'll get to Skybox too, even more so with Skybox. Those horses they were racing against are not your typical trotters. These are some big boys and big girls coming back to the track for these big barns. All right, so and big barns. When I say big barns, I mean these are like Grand Circuit barns. So these are not you know cheap horses. All right, so let's move on to the next one. For whom the bell tolls. For whom the bell tolls arrived. this morning from sunny Florida to -4 degrees. But she's a tough horse. She's a Huntsville. She was born and raised in the Northeast in New York, so she's used to the winter. She's raced here last year, so she's a tough girl, and she's in the barn. And Rob says she's doing fine. So she's back. She's up from Florida, so she'll get to work starting this week. Um, Geologic. Actually, I want to see her. I want to see her pretty bad. Geologic. Same thing. He's doing 6 intervals now. It's between 35, 45 seconds. There's actually a nice video of him, Paul behind him that we have on the straight track. It was actually pretty cool on our YouTube, so check it out. He's doing fine. Gretzky the Great. He's nothing new to know. He's just been swimming every week on his comeback trail, so he's still on target for late March, April or so to qualify. But he's doing fine. And Invictus, he is uh, he trained for the first time last week, Thursday, with Beaueastel. Doing great. And just like Beaueastel, probably 2, 3 weeks away from qualifying. Um, and he remember with Invictus, he is a 4-year-old, so he's 3-year-old, just turned 4-year-old. It's We saw it, the guys who have Skybox, you saw it, how difficult that Skybox took that year. It was very difficult for Skybox making that transition. We'll see how it is with Invictus. Hopefully his only thing is he ties up a lot. So we gotta just hopefully he kind of grows out of that a little bit. But but just keep that in mind. He's got a 4-year-old, so he's gonna be facing versus older horses every week for the first time this year. So let's see how it goes. Just Rose's luck. Just Rose's luck. She's in to go on Tuesday. She's a little bit better on the morning line, 15-1, and but she has a 3 post, moves inside 1 notch. We get Austin Siegelman again, who actually, oh, well, actually we can do that replay.
Yeah, let's see that. Yeah, let's show that replay.
Yeah, I forgot that she raced after our. It's a replay. Yeah, she threw me off because she raced during the week. It seems like every horse we have is like in the weekend. Um, okay. She's the 4 horse.
Yeah, I think Enola was what, 20-1 morning line here, which I thought was a little crazy. I was hoping Austin would get her off the gate. Austin can be a very aggressive driver. I like Austin. He just doesn't get the top horses there. He's always in a tough spot, and he does get her out. He leaves, which was a good thing. And right here, Bartlett. I think that was Bartlett. Yeah, Bartlett goes around us, so we're kind of in a tough spot here. Bartlett's not clearing that easily. Yannick's kind of keeping Jason out there parking a little bit. So we kind of momentarily have to go 3 wide here. Austin's already got the plugs pulled already, and he's got to use her hard, understandably so, to get by Jason. That was the only option there at that point. So yeah, it was a fast quarter. 28 on again another cold night with Bartlett right behind us, and I'm thinking, all right, is Bartlett gonna try to retake here? Is he just gonna sit? And it looks like he just elects to sit the pocket. So right here, we try to slow it down a little bit, and we go 57. Not necessarily where we wanted to be, but think about it. How much is Austin going to grab into her? You don't want to shut her off at this point. You kind of just got to let her roll. If we could have gotten away with a 57-3, 57-4 second half, maybe we would have been golden. But Yannick really comes after us really, really hard here. And, Austin's doing all he can to kind of fight her off, but he just had to let her go at this point. Now we're kind of just hoping for a check. Pretty tough trip right now up into 3/4, 26-2 for the 3/4, and she's still in there. She's racing very well. Very pleased with the effort. Just hoping she can hold on. Get a little leg weary here, understandably so. Colin Kelly's coming from the back with the 5 and just gets up and nips us for the for 5th place money. But I was very, very pleased. It's hard to be pleased when you come in 6th, but I mean, look, she raced very well against a tough group, and she's only going to get better. She's where she needs to be at Yonkers, and maybe we go down one level. We'll see what Rob thinks for the next start. But overall, I was pleased with the effort. She's got the speed. Austin did a good job with her. The trip, it really was just a matter of the trip. The trip didn't work out for us. Just we just had to use it too hard getting to the top, and that's pretty much why we finished where we finished. No big secret there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it was just pure. I was like, a part of me was like, well, if you took back, worked out a trip, but I was like, no, but that's not how Rosa likes to be raced. Rosa is a horse.
Hmm.
She's kind of a headstrong horse. When she gets her nose in the gate, she wants to go.
Yeah,
So
you got to put her in play. Yeah,
yeah, that
which is
that
what he did. That's all you can ask.
that's all you can ask for. The 6 and 7 leaving and getting in front of us hurt us. I thought we were going to get parked the whole mile, but I thought Austin did great. So I'm actually looking
Hmm.
forward to that race on Tuesday. Like you said, Charlie, that division was actually a lot tougher than the other 20 claimer that raced, even tougher than the 25 claimer that raced.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see how it goes. But she looked way more comfortable there than those races at Meadowlands. Um, okay, so just Rose's luck. So she is in on Tuesday, Yonkers, 3 hole, Austin Siegelman. Loving on Louis. He is in. He's also been in 235, 238 down in Florida with Paul. He's doing well. He's like I've been saying, he's probably more of the better gated horse, and that's very important. When I say you're probably like, oh, better gated, what does that mean? Um, these trotters have to trot, so you'll see the guys, anybody who's on these trotters and experiencing it, and actually the people on Geologic saw it last year when the favorite kept breaking in the final and everything, and then we just strolled for $150,000 purse. You know, trotting is 80-90% of it, especially as babies, 2 year olds. So if these horses can just trot around the turns and everything and stay trotting, then that'll give us a great chance. But anyway, Lovinonlouiev Louis is doing fine. Been in 235, 238 down in Florida. Nothing to note here. He's doing fine. Hoping we can get some video of him jogging or training so we can see that gait. I don't think we have him yet. Um, Ma's always right. She's down in Florida also with Paul, 235, 238. She's been on Tuesday, and she's a little bit more of a smaller frame horse, which is just how her mother is. And but there's actually a pretty nice training mile we have on YouTube of her with I want to say it's Seen Lindy, and they both look really good. So Miles always right, coming along nicely. She's doing her thing. Mine Hunter, he raced yesterday. He made his debut for us after about I don't even know how long it's been. What, 4 months?
Yeah, 3 months at least. Yeah.
I think he last raced mid-October. So I don't even know. November, December, January. Yeah, about 3 to 4. Yeah,
Hmm.
almost 4 months. So here's my hunter. He hasn't raced in 4 months. 6 horse.
Yeah, and at this we know Jay is not going to leave the gate here. He's basically just after about a 4 month layup, just give him a good trip around the oval, not using that hard on a crazy cold day, and as expected, we get away sixth here. We're not looking to do anything special here. My hope was that Jay would pretty much just sit in the entire mile, sit the rail, and maybe we get lucky and we get a little piece. And we were just looking for him to just finish strong. Uh, Last thing you need to do after a 4 month layout in hellacious cold and winds is to really push a horse. Um, you got to listen to the horse. You got to let them. You got to let them. Get back into that racing mode. Not use them hard early. I mean, it's the first week of February, and we're in this thing for the long haul. He's a really nice horse. Our goal is to get him back to Yonkers, and basically this was just like a qualifier plus one. We just want to do a little bit better than a qualifier here, and see the fractions 58-2. Ordinarily, if this was, well into the racing season, Jay either would have left with this horse or he would have, pulled second or third over. But that's not going to happen here. So here you could see three horses three horses on the outside. Perfect opportunity for Jay to just slide up the rail. And right here, I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to get a check at least. He's going to finish fifth here. I didn't really expect to do better than, although you see a couple of horses here going three wide, and I'm like, oh, maybe we'll finish with the fourth place check. But Jay's not even really using him here at all. He just wants him to finish strong. And yeah, he does. He does a good job with him here. And he gets up for the fifth place check. And there we go. Yeah, not bad. First time out. We'll take that. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, that was great. I made sure, one thing I was watching was him score down, and we don't have that obviously the footage, but him score down before the race when Jay took him right out, and which I'm sure some of you guys saw it, and if you, it looked like he was just like any other horse. That little limp, I don't want to say limp, but that little canter thing that he does, that he was doing back in when we had him in Yonkers, kind of like cantering. I don't know if you guys know there's like gallop, cantering, trotting, he he was almost kind of like skipping almost in Yonkers, and but then when he paces behind the gate, he actually paces perfectly normal. Um, but yeah, even in the score down at Saratoga, he just came out, scored down. It looked like any other horse, so that's the most important thing. I wouldn't be in talking to Rob. He'll be back in the box for Saturday again. Uh, so the draws tomorrow at Saratoga, and if he's looking like that, as just like any other horse, just like that. Which by the way, this break looks like it did him really well. He looks like he really enjoyed this break and wanted it. And there's no reason why we can't go back to Yonkers at some point. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, he might race at. He's a horse. He can do anything. He might race at Plain Ridge. He might race at Saratoga. He might race at Yonkers. Any track, Meadowlands, Poconos, Tioga. He can do it all. So he's a excellent. Very happy to have him back. Um, All right, on tap Lindy. On tap Lindy is down in Florida. Paul also been 235, 238. There's actually pretty good. We have a lot of footage of him jogging, and if you see him, he's got like these long, beautiful, strong legs. His mom is a Cantab Hall, which Cantab Hall is one of the best broodmare sires in the game. Um, so yeah, I'm actually we got him for 40 grand. He looks I don't know. He just looks like he should be a good horse. He's kind of impressive. But we'll see. We got it's only February, but I don't know. Me personally, I kind of gravitate to how he looks. It's very noticeable. Those nice, beautiful legs, strong legs. I seen Lindy. Same thing, been 235, 238. There's actually a video of her training that I mentioned earlier, where her and Ma's always right, where you can actually see Lindy. You can actually see her trotting pretty quickly. Um, and she has a really nice gait. She has a really nice. So if you look at the scene, I don't. We only Go for Glory only got a small piece of her. We only got like 25%. Um, she was like all sold. She was a cheap horse. She was only when I say cheap, meaning she was 22,000, which is you would expect Massachusetts bred international money filly to be more than that with Muscle Hill Dam. But whatever, we got her for 22 grand. She actually has a really nice gait to her. So that was kind of noticeable. So we'll see how she keeps moving along. Seven Seagrams. Seven Seagrams also, she's been in 250 this week on the half at Big Z with Rob in the freezing cold. And she's doing great. And she actually, just my opinion, just watching. And we're gonna put some more videos of her training actually from Thursday. She's actually so far, I don't want to jinx anything, but so far she's got a really nice smooth gait. You know what I mean? So it's just silky smooth. So let's just see how that goes. Um, and so she's doing well. Ship's Revenge, she's up in Allie's farm. She's just under the lights right now, like where it's like mimicking moonlights, like it's a whole it's basically trying to get her to cycle so that she can get impregnated. So we just got the American Courage breeding. We actually bought it on Thursday, 3,000 on gate. We don't have to pay the full 3,000 now. We only got to do a 10% deposit. It's like $300. And I think it's like $50 we got to pay the on gate. So we got the breeding, so we got to get that paid for, and we got a good contract with Blue Chip Farms, that's where American Courage is based, Stallion. gotta get a contract with them, with Ships Revenge. It's a kind of a process. So where we gotta get the semen shipped to the farm, to Ali's farm, and then the vet is gonna breed her, and we gotta hope that she gets in foal. So that whole process will begin. That the contracting and stuff we gotta do like this week with Blue Chip, but that the actual impregnation or breeding of Ships Revenge won't be until probably March. Ali wants to give her a little bit more time to kind of adjust and cycle up there. So for the month of February, she's just hanging out in the snow. Um, Skybox. Let's do Skybox next. He raced on Friday. He's the three horse.
Hey, yeah, I really wasn't that optimistic in this race. This was a very, very tough group of trotters here. I was just really looking for a good effort. Thought maybe Braxton might want to push off for a sec, and then he had second thoughts there because you see on the outside, uh, old Brett left inside of him, and we had three levers on the outside. Typical Meadowlands race. So we get away fifth here, actually sixth here. Um, I wasn't quite sure what Braxton's strategy was going to be here. He was just going to look to ride the rails the whole way, just try to get a piece here against this tough group. Again, very 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 cold night. Um, Seems like it's been cold since December. We've been racing in horrible conditions. Um, JB playing a little hardball here with Patrick Ryder, which was kind of interesting. I wasn't sure if he was going to let him go or not. I was kind of hoping he would, because now that's going to be a problem for the outer tier here. Because Patrick's going to just clog up the outside. He's not getting by Joe right here, and right now Braxton's we're gapping a little bit here, so I'm not too optimistic. I'm just hoping he can catch up a little bit and finish well. He's not on the helmet at all, and let's see, it's not going to be our night here. Just hoping he could finish strong. And overall against this class, I'm not necessarily disappointed with the effort. Wasn't terribly excited, but he probably finished where he should have been. He went of like really, really long odds. He's coming a little bit here, but I think it was just a case of just being a little bit overmatched with this group. Just need to find a softer spot, I think.
Yeah,
Would
53 and 3 on a freezing night. I mean, is that is fast. And
Yeah.
I saw when the program came out, some of the guys were like, "Oh, well, Skybox drew inside." I was like, "Well, you gotta look at those horses he's facing." There's some new so that level that he is racing is basically the open right now. The
Yeah.
way the Meadowlands has it configured with like the way that condition works is it allows a lot of good horses to fit in there. And he's basically like in the open because that is the highest level trot Meadowlands has right now, or the past couple weeks. Um, and those horses are not those are new entrants. Those are horses that are either have been in other classes that are now racing in Skybox's class, or have been off all winter that are now showing up. And they're good horses. Like the winner, I think cleared for landing. I think that was his first start off of qualifier. So this is what I was saying earlier. Meadowlands is kind of getting it's kind of the switch is being turned on now with a bunch of the Grand Circuit stables waking up. So, soon enough, Oki Svanstead is going to be showing up. Marcus Melander. You're going to start seeing Nancy Tactor. You know, Noel Daly. You're going to start seeing a lot of these big barns showing up, and Meadowlands gets kind of back to like it's the way that people kind of get frustrated about, where it's like so hard, but you're not racing for that much purses, but it's like crazy hard. So, Skybox is fine. He's doing great. He we could have pushed him. Braxton could have pushed him. Maybe he could have finished fifth place, and got on the second faster. But he'll be. We're gonna look for a softer spot for him. Might try like Yonkers. We're thinking about like Yonkers, like a 40 claimer. Talking to Rob. Um, I mean, he's not the greatest on a half mile, but if he can kind of get decent position, maybe draw inside, you know, he might be able to get a piece over there for a little bit, at least until he gets a little money off his card, and then we can fit easier at Meadowlands. So
Yeah, and like you said, Pedro, that race went in 53 and 2, and it was a -1, so that was a pretty fast race for early February.
yeah, those horses are not cheap horses.
Hmm.
The ones that like that finished up there, those are not cheap. Actually, one of those horses, Spending Crazy, who was 55 to 1, who finished really great. Um,
Yeah,
I think he finished fifth or something. He's actually seven Seagrams' older brother. So, and you can just gives you an idea what kind of family she's got. She got a nice family. But anyway, all right,
yeah.
Skybox. Anything else, Charlie? You want to add with Skybox or?
No,
Yeah, he's doing great. Look, everybody who got in, you know, whenever you got in that, he's coming alive this year, and he's been a really nice, pleasant surprise. So he's doing fine.
yeah.
All right, Soho Skyfall. Soho Skyfall. We can do his race for Sunday, where he raced after we did our video. Okay. And then obviously he was scratched yesterday, Saturday yesterday. We can just do the replay first of Sunday last week. He's the not sure, three horse? No.
Uh,
Oh, this is not. This is the hold on a second. Wrong race. Apologies.
yeah.
It's a five horse.
Okay, yeah. So JJ leaves with him. He's not going to get a spot, and he's going to have to press forward. There we go. Okay, he didn't have to use them all that hard to get to the top, but nonetheless, he had to go. He had to go around Brett, who had the inside post. So Brett is sitting with the golden trip right here, just drafting behind Jay. So 28 and 2/4. Brett's right on the helmet, and I'm thinking, all right, we're going to be no worse than second here. Right here, if I had to, I'd put my money on Brett. With Soho pretty much just working his way back. Um, 58 was the half. Was hoping he could go just slightly, just a tad slower, but it is what it is. You got to let these horses roll, especially in this weather. You don't want to, grab into them too much. Now we're going to take a little bit of pressure here, so that certainly bodes well for the three horse here. Um, and then we get to the 3/4 in 27 and 3. We're still rolling. We're still looking good here, but I know the pressure's going to be coming. And I think that was Billy Dobson on the outside. He's not making much of an impression here, so it's a two-horse race right here. So is Brett going to go up the rail? Is he going to go outside of us? And right now, it's getting close, and you could see the three had all the momentum, and he was just going to run us down and just got by us. But strong effort. I was very, very pleased, with the result, and I think we can, certainly build on that. Hopefully, if the weather cooperates next week, we haven't quite decided what we're going to do yet. I was looking at the temperature, the long range forecast for Saratoga for next weekend, for next Saturday, and we're looking at it was 8 degrees for the low and 32 for the high. So hopefully, if the weather cooperates, and we got to talk to Rob, we got to make that decision if we're putting him back in tomorrow, the draws tomorrow for next week.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he's that race was good to see it. We just gotta. He just has to get rolling again. One way or the other. It is what it is. I talked to Rob this morning just in general about Soho Skyfall, and Yeah, Rob said he's fine. He's healthy. He's sound. It's just, there's no issues at all as far as like a health standpoint and things like that. It's just we saw it a couple times already where he's just for whatever reason like back down in the Harris Philly race, the first race where he was horrendous and then sick for a month. He's just um you can't put your finger on it. Every horse is different. Some horses come from Australia and New Zealand and it's like nothing. They hit this polar vortex and they're like just kind of battle through it. Some horses like Soho, first time he's experienced this, and of course it's a historic winter on top of that. He just it's a shock to his system and he's um it's taken him a bit to kind of like get over it. So the good thing, like Charlie said, it is going to get warmer now. I think we're on things should now I think we reached the peak and things should start getting a little warmer now going forward. Um, so hopefully Soho can kind of get back in the rhythm. So that's the story with him. We'll see what happens. Uh, and Solar Queen, she Solar Queen trained on Thursday also with a watch 250 Big Z with Rob, and there's actually a video of her. She actually knuckled over at the end, which means she made like her front foot kind of went over, um, and she kind of make a little break right at the end, but then she regained her stride immediately. Um, that happens every now and then with horses where they knuckle over. They just kind of their hoof kind of goes over, and but she actually trained pretty nicely. Like when she jogs, I'm not a big fan of I'm not like crazy about how she jogs. I mean, jogging, who cares? The horse is just supposed to go slow and just supposed to get an exercise. That's the whole point of jogging. They're not trotting, or pacing. They're just jogging. So, you know, I always would it be nice if a horse jogs amazingly and jogs perfectly. Yeah, but Solar Queen, every horse is different. Every horse is different. So Solar Queen, she has her own way of how she likes to jog. And then but when she was training on Thursday, we'll put the video up hopefully today on YouTube or tomorrow. Um you'll see she actually is really smooth. She's actually really smooth when she got a really smooth trot to her. She got around the half nicely. So that was good. So we'll put that up. Solar Queen, um yeah, she's coming around. Rob's been working on her gait and everything, so he's been doing a good job with her and looking forward to her. And second chapter, last but not least, second chapter, uh, he is doing those 6 quarter-mile intervals now. He's teaming up with Geologic, and we actually have a video I mentioned earlier with Geologic on the straight track. It's with second chapter. So if you kind of wait in the video to the second half of the video, and they're going back down it again, you can actually see second chapter trotting next to Geologic, and he's got a nice gait to him. So, all you guys who are on second chapter and waiting all this time, he, I don't know, he's got a nice way he goes about his business. That's the first time I saw him trotting fast, because obviously he hasn't raced yet or qualified, and it was nice. It was a good, clean looking trot. Um, so anyway, with that being said, Charlie, anything else you want to add? We're at the end of the horse end of the video.
No, I'm thinking football now, so I'm going to get ready for football. I think we covered all we needed to cover, and I wish everybody good luck on today's game and be safe traveling. Don't drink too much, don't eat too much. Have fun. I hope you hit your Super Bowl boxes, and we look forward to this upcoming week.
Absolutely. All right. Good luck, everyone. Take care. Enjoy the day.
Bye bye.